Okay,
Okay, so.
We know where we're going?
Not really.
Okay.
We're changing the taxi business license fee to
Yes.
what, to 100?
To 100?
What was it,
yeah, 100.
100? That's an agreement around the
Yeah,
table,
yeah.
100? Or,
Per
We're okay with 100?
Per operating authority,
Consistent.
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party, Chad.
We get the two character references?
Yes.
So, are we going to require 2 character references every year? Like, if they're coming in every year,
That's his business. To me, that's your business.
Yeah.
right? That's not my business.
yeah, we're getting rid of it?
No,
The
we're.
character
I would.
leaving
I
the
mean, you can
character
always find a
references in.
character reference for,
Awesome, then they can photocopy and use the same character reference every year.
Okay,
so what I'm saying is that's up to him, right? Like, what are we gaining by getting character references from some,
Somebody you don't know.
who don't know, right? Like, you can always
Well,
find
that's
someone.
kind of the point, right? We don't know them.
That's right, so, yeah, and you get 2 character references of people you don't know, so you're like, well, that's great. Like, to me, the hard stuff is, again, the criminal record, child registry, that's legit. Like, I'm not managing his business, that's up to him, in my opinion.
We are.
I think the whole purpose of character references is for someone in the business to make phone calls and check them and find out if they're good or not. So if
That's his
we're
job.
asking for them, then we're implying that we will be making those phone calls and burdening our staff with doing that, and we don't even get to necessarily to say yea or nay on the hiring.
Okay, let's go around the table.
They just have to
Thank you.
provide it.
thank you.
Doctor, reference checks, no?
Yeah.
Margaret?
Yes.
Okay, Andrew?
I don't think it's I don't think that's I don't think that's something that we can actually deal with anyway, so.
Okay.
No.
No.
No?
Yes.
Two. Okay, no, so that's 42.
No reference checks.
Okay.
Okay.
Just, are we changing the fee for taxi cab business license? Taxi cab business driver's license?
No.
No.
We're leaving it at 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and probationary period?
No probation.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Andrew?
No, no.
No?
No.
I think we should have it.
Okay, no?
I don't think we can.
He didn't want it. I'm still on the fence, like, I don't know, I see both sides
You
of
either
it.
get it or you don't get it. Black and
Well,
white.
it's going to be 5 to 1 or 4 to 2, so.
I know. This isn't an official vote, so it won't be.
No, it's not
Do the
official
two, do the
vote.
two? Okay, well, I'll go with Sam. You know
Okay.
what, like, I'm on the fence, so.
Okay.
Is-
All right, so,
Okay.
okay?
And we're leaving.
No probation.
We're leaving Part 4, Section 4, Part 5, B,
Yes.
C, D, leaving
Yes.
all of
Yeah,
those
we wanna
alone.
leave- we wanna leave those-
Leaving it as 10 years for the top one.
That's not under,
Yeah.
Okay.
just B, C, and D. Okay, we're leaving those in?
Yeah.
It's good by me.
And we're
Okay?
gonna review.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, unanimous. Okay,
And review of the policy.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Yep,
Policy
yep,
will
yep,
remain
yep.
in the bylaw, but the policy will be reviewed.
Yes.
Can you get a copy of that to him when you
Yeah.
get it done? Great. Okay, moving backwards.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. 3.2, Federation
I
of
got it.
Canadian Municipalities Trade Show Booth.
I know you do, I heard some of them.
Sorry, I'm just,
Yeah, we're moving backwards.
Yeah.
Man, I thought we would just keep going.
No!
Oh, is she okay?
Are you taking a
We're
slight
taking a
break?
lifestyle break.
are we taking a break for a minute then?
Yes.
Thank you.
5-minute recess, hit your gavel.
Yeah.
First time ever. Ouch. Next time I'm gonna use the gavel.
Here, you can sign this stuff.
Okay, we're back now. Item number 3.2, FCM Trade Show Booth. Request from Deputy Mayor Morrish.
Okay, so actually this kind of came when, oh my gosh, I don't remember the name of it, but when we went to Snow Lake and there was like, everybody was there, like all municipalities, like Snow Lake.
District meeting.
There we go. So there they were kind of talking about how if there was like opportunities for us to kind of like come together to promote the North, that would be good things to take advantage of, which is what I kind of thought with the trade show being in Winnipeg. A lot of people think that Manitoba doesn't exist outside of Winnipeg and the perimeter. So I just thought that this might be a good opportunity opportunity to partner with the RM and other municipalities, maybe Thompson, maybe Flin Flon if they're interested, and get a booth set up and kind of be there to promote the North and Manitoba outside of Winnipeg. There'll be like a lot of delegates and people there from the federal government, and yeah, that was kind of my thought on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm done.
The cost of the booth is $3,000.
Yep.
And out of the 137 booths that are already registered, there's only one other municipality that has a booth. The rest of the booths are for businesses that municipalities deal with, not the actual municipality.
Which I get
Yeah.
that, but.
And it was suggested by the CAO that the town consider attending a tourism trade show instead of the FCM.
So, okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Well, there was funding, it was proposed, correct me if I'm wrong.
Pardon me?
I was going to say, you're texting.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Check
Keep
them.
texting, about $3,000 from the Community Enhancement Fund, right?
Right.
Right. So to me, again, this is a CDC operation.
Well,
We budget, I know that, but then we should get our crap together and get it done, right? Because otherwise we'll start using that slush fund, which I know you love hearing that word, right? I couldn't
Are
do
you
that.
trying to boil
I
his
couldn't.
blood?
Yeah, I want to see how red he's going to get. Look, he's changing color already, that's awesome. So, but once we start going down using that fund, right?
Fired.
But jokes aside.
I get it.
Jokes aside, we have infrastructure issues, and that's what, to me, community enhancement is. And we've allocated money to the CDC. If we can't get it up and running, then we got to get moving on that, right? There's $90,000 we've budgeted for. That's what this is for. We can't stop, we can't keep going in operationally, in my opinion, say, we're going to do this, and then, but now we're going to do this ourselves, because we're duplicating work. And this theme's going to come up a few more times in this, right? So if we're going to do a booth, and we got to stop spending money when we already budgeted for someone to spend the money. And if they're not spending the money, then there's a problem. But we're backfilling, it makes no sense operationally, so what are we doing? Right? If we want to do it, and I'm fine, you want to promote the region, great, I'm all for that, but that's a CDC function, and we should let them do it.
I totally get what you're saying, but at the same time, the longer we go, we've been saying for how long, that's something that the CDC could do, and that's something that the CDC should do, and we should let them look after that, and nothing's gotten done because we haven't been able to hinder or broker the new agreement and get that train moving, so I just think
For our
that,
shortcomings, sorry to cut you off, for our shortcomings, we shouldn't take money from somewhere else to cover that, right? That's our problem. We either get our crap together and get this thing done with them, and stop trying to justify it by taking money from somewhere else. Oh, we missed an opportunity, because that's not, to me, not a good sell. Just prolongs this process we're going through.
Brian?
Yeah, I would speak against the motion or the idea simply because I think the idea of going out and selling ourselves is great. I think this particular target audience, which is other municipalities from across the country, is not the appropriate one because I don't know what services we would sell them or a business in our community is going to sell them. It's great to go out and sell our community, but it's just the wrong audience at this time, I think.
And just one more thing, back to what I alluded to before. If 4 people are going, 2 of them should be senior staff, right? Because they're the guys who are here, they're the guys at the front line working this stuff. It's great if I go.
Okay.
Let's
Tackle that in a second. The big issue right now we got to deal with, first of all, is are we going to have a booth there? Having attended an FCM convention before, we would be loners. We really would, because people are there to get deals on how to remove ice from runways, how to buy blocks of sewer pipes at a time, and it really is. It's not about coming here to visit. It's about this is business, and it's just the wrong place. And we would be, the city of Winnipeg is hosting it, and they won't be there. So it's the wrong crowd. I would not be in favor of us having a booth there.
So that's no from Brian and no from Jim. Tad?
I agree that it's probably not the right venue for selling ourselves as a destination.
Wonderful idea.
It is, it's a very good idea, I just don't think that it is the right place for, if we're trying to sell our community for industry and for tourism and for selling the lake lots, it's just not the right place for it. Because if you look at the trades, the booths that are registered, it just, we wouldn't fit.
Crystal, I know yours. Andrew?
No, for me, I mean, it's great. A different convention or a different event, yeah, we should have a look, but I echo Alan's sentiment. If we've already got, we need to focus on having a body available to just attend these things and promote us for ourselves, and so my answer is no on the FCM one.
Okay. Margaret?
Again, too, I like the idea, but with seeing everybody on there, we'd be loners, and maybe there'd be something else better, like the tourism, where we can spend more time and be better prepared for that. And hopefully the CDC will be up there and get, yeah.
Okay, so that's that.
I will look into tours and trade shows that are coming up and seeing what's...
So the other thing is on the composition of who should attend. So, and again, I'm only going to go on previous history. I didn't see a lot of CAOs or city managers or anything there. It was mostly elected people. And I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing to do. I mean, maybe there is something to be garnered, from, sending, like sending a Jody, who understands, I don't care what kind of pipe you're putting underground, but how much does it cost? How do we work that through? So
The trade show has massive elements that these guys should be going to, that our staff should be going to.
Yes, that's a
Convention in
great
itself, that's a spot
And
for
the other,
elected officials.
sorry, and the other point is that the trade show is a segment, and I might add a fairly small segment of this event. This is a national convention, of which there will be workshops and there will be study sessions, all kinds, that'll keep everybody busy all day long. And so the trade show is a place to go have a cookie and a coffee kind of thing, and then, but it's places like maybe those two people would just get in there and find out what's going on.
Cookies?
And that wouldn't have to be passed through a resolution, because that would be through Kerry's budget for a training budget.
Yeah, and so, for me, I can give up my spot to go. I've been to one, So it's not that, it's not, I mean, I would love to go because it really is an amazing convention. But I've been to one, and so I would give up my spot to send Sam or Jody for sure.
Okay.
I'm not even sure Randy would get a lot out of it. Honestly, I don't mean that badly against Randy, but like those two are probably the two that should go. It's it's structured.
If it's in the Bahamas next year, we're still...
No, Palace Winnipeg. In mosquito season. Yeah.
I'll discuss it with...
Okay? So, those are my thoughts. I'm not sure we're any further ahead on that. Shall we move along then?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
4.1, AMM Officials Seminar.
Association Manitoba Municipalities Municipal Officials Seminar and Trade Show is in Brandon this year, and it's from April 13th and the 14th, and councillors usually attend. This is usually a good one. It's basically a smaller version of FCM.
It is.
There is no agenda out yet, so I'm not even sure what's on the agenda. Middle of February, the agenda will be up. So I just wanted to know if anyone wanted to attend, or just keep those dates in mind,
I'm unable to.
and let me know.
No, for me. I can say it right now.
I need to check a calendar.
Just my point.
Poor Brian.
How about you, Brian? You got any free time?
Yeah, you got free time?
Probably.
You went last year, I think, didn't you?
Yeah.
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 To
We went
AM?
to
They
one
don't-
last year,
we
yeah.
went- we were
I don't mind going to it.
Yeah.
And,
We went to the,
This-
we went,
this
that was a
time,
year
no.
ago, in the
So
fall, sorry.
resolution for
In the
2?
fall,
Yeah.
Same as the national one, I
Or no,
think
no, in
if
the
there's
spring. We went in the
value
spring.
for these, or you
In March. Yeah,
any
yeah, we
senior
did.
staff to go, I think we should consider that.
Yeah.
I have day surgery.
And they don't have to register as delegates. That's the other thing too, right? So, you don't have that cost. You have the,
Because
obviously.
they don't
travel.
have to take part in all the workshops and the seminars, they can just go for the actual
Yeah.
trade show.
Yeah.
I can't go.
Okay, I'll just do a resolution for 2 in case somebody else. That works?
Yep.
Who's doing?
Okay, 4.2, library board appointment.
Town received recommendation from the Paul Regional Library to reappoint Jennifer Habarchuk to sit on the library board for a 2-year term, which will expire January 31st, 2018.
Okay, I don't think anybody has a problem with that, do they?
No, no problem.
There we go. Bring that forward for resolution. Parking on green space.
2 references?
We have 2 character references first.
And an abstract.
The CEO has received a complaint letter as it relates to the lack of enforcement of parking on boulevards and green space in the town. There are bylaws which do not permit this, and the public safety officers have been attempting to enforce it. However, in the past, council has permitted people living adjacent to green space to park their boats, campers, etc. on green space, but does not extend this to those not adjacent to green space or allowed it on boulevards. The CEO recommends that bylaws should be enforced on all public property, even those that were given permission in the past.
Sorry, does this relate to a particular issue?
Yes, there's a few.
No, there was some,
Frechette now.
yeah, there were some pre-existing properties, and if I remember right, in the last 4 to 5 years, we had been working to get private property off of the public spaces.
Yeah.
Which only stands to reason. It's not your land.
Basically, CEO was just looking for direction, because there may be
Yeah.
some upset people with.
We'll follow the law.
I'm sure Randy has a plan to, if they haven't already gotten notice, that they get appropriate notice and told, hey, here's the story.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as due process is followed, then it should be no problem.
Are we all on the same page on that one, I think?
Yes.
Not even on the green space, everyone's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pre-existing conditions.
Okay, the PAW Homecoming Committee, 2017. Probably one part of that slush fund, right?
It is not a slush fund.
Come on. I'm testing you now that you're back. How rested is he? You know.
Maybe you might need a couple more margaritas.
Okay, let us move along then. Homecoming Committee, 2017. What have we got? Pardon me?
Can I see that?
Paul Homecoming 2017 Committee is requesting support from the town of Paul in the amount of $2,500 from the Hotel Tax
Okay, we'll
Fund.
give that
This
up.
will help to cover the costs of a fundraising dance in the spring of 2016. A group has been booked to entertain with Buddy Holly songs and music. They would like to know as soon as possible so they can start making plans. This will bring a lot of people to the community.
So are
This
you
was not
guys?
in the budget.
No, but you guys approved the hotel tax thing, right?
It's not approved by the province yet.
Yeah, it's still got to go to the province.
Once that's done, have them apply for destination marketing. That's
How
what's-
how long until that gets approved by the
Couldn't tell you.
province?
This is in 2017.
It's the
No,
spring of
this is
2016.
Spring of 20.
Which one?
Even though it says 2017 on there.
They're trying
They're
to dance.
fundraising
to
to fundraise.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, I think we should go through, again, the same as I
agree.
before. We're using a fund that's not for that, to offset something because it's not done. I mean, it's got to go through destination marketing.
I still want to punish these people
No.
because we didn't get our act together.
No. How long did it take last time for the province to?
Well, there's an election right now, so they're in.
There won't be anything happening until May or June.
No, that won't have any impact
Shouldn't
because
have,
it's
yeah.
just their civil servants that review it.
No,
I
it
think it
goes
needs
to the-
ministerial
it's
approval.
minister-
And the minister can't even approve bylaws in the Black Book period?
Oh, I don't know if he can or can't, but it's got to go to, sorry, we just gave it, you've got the resolutions.
That's okay.
Chief,
It's-
no, chief, yeah, it's got to go high up.
Yeah, I'd just be surprised that they somehow don't allow the mechanism for bylaw approval to continue on even during election period. Maybe it's the case, whatever.
Again, I
I'm
just don't
thinking we're
want,
probably looking at a couple.
I don't want
months.
them to be,
We don't have this in our existing budget that's on the table,
No.
and the proper place for it to go, other than through the Community Enhancement Fund that's been allocated in the budget, so that's the appropriate mechanism for it to go. One more reason to get the CDC up and
To
running, and get the
destination
accommodation,
marketing?
yeah, and they get the accommodation tax bylaw dealt with and done.
Brian?
Or not CDC, the Destination Marketing Committee.
Because currently, council is in charge. Like, if all those bylaws go through, it'll be council looking after destination marketing
And the
until
community
CDC.
Yeah.
And also, we handle the Community Enhancement Fund,
Yes, you
right?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
Brian?
this one, I would have a problem supporting it simply because it's not asking, it's not, it's an activity that's indirectly related to the event. And spending money is nothing more than a donation, because it's a fundraiser. So what do? They made $1,400 on their fundraiser? As much as I appreciate what they're attempting to do, I don't think it's the place of the town to start funding those.
I don't disagree.
Apply to destination marketing.
Okay,
Next.
Devon Mission, 175th anniversary.
Devon Mission Heritage Group is planning a 175th anniversary from April 1st to April 3rd, and they are requesting the town to be a sponsor. This can be done by sponsoring a meal, donating gifts for thank you bags, or monetary donation. They would like to know as soon as possible so they can start making plans.
So again,
There was no monetary amount.
right, so they would apply, well, although depending on what the grant that they use for accommodation tax, because the grant that we proposed was that if you're religious or
Religious groups.
religiously affiliated, that you wouldn't be eligible to apply for the accommodation tax fund, if they use that grant when it is up and running.
It's being used.
Right. I would be okay with giving them some pins, though.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
And
give 'em
could always
some-
do town of the Paul bags if you want in this case. It's,
They want bags. They said bags,
Bags?
Well, what are they asking for, sorry?
They're asking for bags, pins,
did it
that
say
kind of
bags?
thing.
I missed bags.
It's bags.
It didn't really say.
The quantities?
They were looking for money.
Thank you, bags.
They didn't give them monetary amount, though.
Yeah, there was no
Okay, I
monetary.
got it.
Okay.
Just want money.
Let's get rid of some pins.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess we should just ask them to, if we can get exactly what they want.
If they give us a number, I guess, we could tell
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You could tell them to go to the Destination Marketing Fund, which definitely won't be operational by April.
Well, no, but they wouldn't be able to apply to the Destination Marketing Fund anyways because they're religiously affiliated.
To me, just
Right.
donate some gifts and be done with it.
Yeah. We just need we just need a number of how many pins they need.
Oh,
right?
sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking number dollar-wise.
No, like number
Number
of,
of people. How many pins do you want, how
yeah.
many bags do you want?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, if it's pins and swag from the town, then that's a
Okay,
little different.
pins, pens. Okay, how
Okay,
many?
4.7, Northern Juried Art Show.
The Northern Juried Art Show is hosting the 40th Annual Northern Juried Art Show, April 7th to the 9th, and they would like the town to provide financial support in the amount of $2,500 to ensure a reception and awards. They would like to know as soon as possible so they can start making plans. The CAO has recommended $1,000.
Yeah, so when we
Cool.
talked about it during budget time, we had said that we would be okay with giving them $1,000 for the Northern Juried Art Show, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was dear.
They wanted 2,500, we said 1,000.
Cool.
You're probably outside of, no, like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's
And
do
they
it.
would like to know as soon as possible, so can we pass a resolution approving the $1,000 as the 2016 budget is not approved yet?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
4.8, accounts.
Resolution is required to approve accounts to February 3rd, 2016, in the amount of $562,425.38. Please note the payment to Kelsey School Division in the amount of $377,550.22, and the Public School Finance Board in the amount of $100,360.58. These are the final payments for 2015 for school taxes.
Could we request to meet with Kelsey School Division as soon as possible to review the budget instead of waiting till the last minute to review it?
The budget?
Yeah, their budget. Because this impacts our budget.
Is this the week, I think this is the week that they have that.
It's today.
Is it today that
There's
the
one
budget
today
was
and there's one
available?
the 22nd.
They have a meeting today.
But if you read the timeline from the meeting,
No, one
they don't
today. They're
present it
having
to
a meeting,
council
but they said we could come,
to
but
about
we
48
couldn't
hours
come.
before it gets
Right.
Yeah.
signed off on it, right? So to me,
Okay.
that's not enough time to have any meaningful discussions.
When do you guys want to meet with them? What nights work?
Let's find out when they're available. We'll work
Okay.
on the schedule.
Alrighty. So resolution?
Okay. Social media versus personal freedom. Good Lord.
At the January 11th Committee of the Whole meeting, the committee discussed a request form submitted by Councillor Rock with regards to social media versus public freedom. The committee directed administration to develop a policy in this regard. Attached is a policy stating that when employees, mayor, or council wish to publish content or make comment on social media that involves subjects associated with the town of the Paw, The following disclaimers shall be used. The postings on the site are my own and may not represent the town of the Paw's positions, strategies, or opinions. And I need, if everyone's in favor, we need a resolution to pass it.
So my thing is, again, like, how far are we gonna take this? Every time I make a status on Facebook, I need to post that as a tagline on my status, or I post it once on my personal page and people know, like, anytime I comment, I have to add that? I mean, I just want some clarity on how far are we taking
Not
this?
going that far.
I'm just saying, like, I don't
I
wanna
was instructed to develop a policy by council, so.
Yeah.
I don't wanna lose my seat because I forget to post a disclaimer if I make a comment that doesn't really have anything to do with town, but because I'm a counselor, it's implied that.
I think the question probably is once you're an elected official, are you ever in that window of being elected a private citizen?
Absolutely.
Really? Because when you speak, and you point out too, it's very hard to throw on disclaimers to everything you say. So whenever you go out there and you say anything, the problem and challenge going forward is what's going to wash back on your community and your council, simply because somebody chooses to look and say, Councillor Rock, you're a councillor and you can't say that, you can't do that, you're misrepresenting the town because you said that, whatever. And that's sort of the vein in which, and maybe it's whether trying to put it down in the policy is the right way to go, or whether it's something where we look at it and decide what works best going forward to find a reasonable balance.
See, and for me, and we have the same issue in our business, right? Times are changing, how we advertise, how we market, everything's changing. But we're not a big firm, and we're the same with the town. We don't have the funds. It'd be great, like in an ideal world, we'd have enough money, and the way things are going, we need a communications manager. If you're a big firm, that's what you have. They manage all communications out of your operation, and everything goes through them. We don't, right? So we have all these tentacles putting everything's out, and it's a gray area we're living in. So I think we need some sort of disclaimer just for everyone. Right? So if you go, Crystal, and say, well, here's a survey, I'm doing a survey, what does the community think? Are you talking as Crystal Moorish, or are you talking as Councillor or Deputy Mayor Crystal Moorish? It's hard to say, right? Whether it's right or wrong, we're operating like on our own behalf, but like in a big firm, that's not how it works, right? You do your communication piece, it goes through someone else, and then it gets pushed out there. So there's always this vetting going on. And I know that because I did that at a big firm, right? Stuff gets emailed out to 500 people. It goes through my boss to get double checked to what's getting pushed out. We don't have that. We just have an idea. It gets thrown out in the public, whether it's the towns, and no one can decipher. So that's our challenge. We'll never probably get to that big firm status where you have, and I look at Jody, Toco's probably the same, right? Everything gets out, pushed out through a central communications department. My cousin's the head of communications for the Bank of Canada. Everything goes through her, I'm guessing, like, and does that. We don't have that. So what do? We have a challenge, right? And we need to tell our story better, because sometimes I don't think it gets told quite the way it should, right? So, to me, if we have a disclaimer, is that, I get it, right? Like, you feel like it's a personal freedom. I'm not a big Facebook fan, so I'm indifferent, right? Whatever, you want me to put a disclaimer? I don't care. I'm only posting the odd picture of my kid doing something dumb. Right?
But so then that's the thing, right? So somebody takes offense to you posting a picture of your kid doing something dumb.
But that's not
and that
that's
comes
not the
back
case.
to
That's
you?
not the case, right? Because we know what we're talking about here, right? Some people use it more than others, and they use it, and we're in a gray area. If you're posting pictures of your kid, that's pretty cut and dry.
But that's what I mean, though. So
But
I
that's-
post a joke, and you think it's funny, and Jen finds it offensive.
Right. So
So,
do you
so
put
what,
that
do
disclaimer?
I
You know
post a
that.
disclaimer?
Sure, why not? Right? Is it that
Well,
cumbersome?
yeah,
I don't know.
it could be, like, depending on
be.
how much you use Facebook, right?
Yep.
You just said you don't use it, I use it all the
I
time.
get it, right? I said it's a challenge. What do you do? I mean, like in an ideal world, we'd be set up that way, but we're never, that's reality. That's not going to happen, right? So we need to come as a group to where we feel comfortable, like what's going out is representative of me, Alan, and not me, the councillor, and vice versa, right? Like where everyone kind of feels comfortable about that. I mean, I don't have it cut and dry. To me, putting a disclaimer, if that helps make everyone feel more comfortable, is that a big onus on anyone? To me, that's not a big deal. But it's a step in the right direction.
The thing I think is that before Facebook, whatever, whether Facebook exists or not, if I'm uptown shopping and somebody comes to me with a question about the development on a hydro lot, I am now speaking as a councillor, and while I will present facts as they exist. If I get asked, what's your opinion of that, what do you think about that, I'm going to give them my honest opinion, because I was elected as a councillor to provide my honest opinion, representing the people that I think voted for me. So, but when I do that, that is my opinion, and it's set forward as that. And I mean, I think what happens is with Facebook, because it's just so new, not having this thing that says, well, this is my opinion, this is my Facebook page, anything I post here is my opinion. It does not represent the town of the Paw's opinions. And then if somebody contacts me on Facebook or puts up a post on Facebook about Bell Avenue and I want to comment on it or add something to it, or if I just want to comment in general and post a status that says, hey, I think this is great, it says right on the front of my page, well, this is my opinion, not necessarily the opinion of the entire council. I might think it's great, and I might be the only person sitting here. I'm still entitled to that opinion. I'm still entitled to voice it. And it's the same for Facebook. It applies that way. I don't know that posting this on my status really changes anything. If I chose to go on Facebook and start berating other councillors personally or something like that, or berating town staff, it'd be no different than if I walked up town and saying, God, that person working over there in our town, they're useless, they can't, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I would be in as much trouble for going uptown and saying that verbally as if I posted it on Facebook. The difference is that I can say, well, I didn't say that. And if it was just one person I was talking to, I could say, well, they just don't like me. So so it becomes, he said, she said, there's no proof. Facebook, there's proof always. So I mean, the benefit in having that position stated on your status, or I don't even know how you would do that. I'm presuming I could put that right on my profile if I wanted, that says anything you read on here is my opinion only, not the opinion of council. Then it's pretty clear to anybody that might take a snapshot of anything that I can say, no, did you happen to see that part? That's my opinion, not Jim's. And I represent myself as an elected councillor. That's it. I don't when I speak here, I speak for myself. If I created a page that said this is the Town of the Paw Council's page, and I went on there and started posting a bunch of things, but what I thought it was, it's just completely inappropriate. It doesn't represent the group. We went through this with the first mayor's Facebook page last term, and we had to get pretty real about the fact that that had to be only his page and represented that way. And he did, I thought, a pretty good job of making sure that he made it clear that any opinions he expressed on there were his opinions and not necessarily the opinions of the entire council. I don't think it made any difference if he'd had that posted up on his profile front and center or not at all. I don't know that it would have made any big difference, but I don't see any harm in having this posted. I don't see that it changes anything. If Jim wants to go on Facebook onto his personal page and respond to somebody's question, he's allowed to. He's elected. We're elected to voice our positions about things, to represent people. So, I don't know. It's, I haven't yet seen an instance where I'm like, boy, if we had a policy that said that you weren't allowed to voice your opinion, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, this is Canada. This is North America even. Like, it's 2016.
I guess the challenge with social media, so if you sit on a board, you usually follow Robert's rules or there's some sort of structure to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Social media, there's nothing, right?
There's nothing.
Free
It's complete chaos.
And I guess, again, that's our challenge. How do you...
Yeah. And people have to recognize that there's a risk in responding to the chaos. Mm-hmm. If the mob mentality is running wild on a particular topic and you choose to insert yourself in the middle of the mob, don't expect that you're somehow going to come out of there unscathed. It doesn't matter what you say. Somebody will perceive it the wrong way, interpret it differently, clip out the 4 words they want to, and post it somewhere else. And off it goes. So, I mean, people need to be cognizant of social media. I think most people are. I think people that are not comfortable with that don't engage in it. I'm not really comfortable in it. I have the same profile picture from when I created my account 11 years ago. One status update. Same 4 pictures that I uploaded there from 2006. That's it. But I use my Facebook account to see what people are saying, because I'm always curious to see what goes on.
Example is a great example, right? People read it, you guys read it, most of it was far from true. Do you want to enter in on that and even have, to me, like, that's cool, like, that's not my thing, right? But, I mean, you could just pick through and say, that's wrong, and why, I mean, you could rebut half the stuff, why it's not that way, but do you want to get in? Is that how we want to communicate with the public? To me, I don't think that's not the best way to do it.
But at the same time, like,
I think the Facebook public expects that, though.
and
Maybe.
ways are
So-
changing, so
Yeah.
to me, if somebody makes a post on Facebook and then tags me in it because they want to know my opinion, or they have a question that they think that I should answer, to me, not answering them would be the same as if I saw somebody on the street and they asked me a question and I ignored them and said nothing. To me, that's how it is. I mean, you need to control yourself, and that post went totally viral and got way out of control, and I made 2 comments on it, and one of them was because I was tagged, and somebody said, you know, we'd like some clarity, and can somebody chime in here? Jim was tagged, and I was tagged in it. You guys weren't, because you're not as avid Facebook users, but like I said, to me, that would be no different than if I was in the grocery store and that person had come up to me and asked me, and I just chose not to say anything and ignore them. So, I mean, times are changing, and I think that we need to keep that in mind, and I don't have a problem with there being a policy, I just would like some clarity. So like I said, every time I make a Facebook status, do I have to post that? Every time I make a comment somewhere, do I have to post that? Putting it on my profile once, social media changes all the time. So if I make that as a status or put it on my profile, eventually it's gonna get lost in the shuffle, and then what happens?
Don? But I think we need to have this, continue to have this discussion, right?
But like I said, I'm not against a policy, I
Yeah.
just think it should be more clear on exactly what is expected, and this doesn't only affect us, it affects the staff too, right? It's written in there for staff as well, so. I know Sam has made some comments sometimes, and I wanted to high five you at one of them, but I think.
I just sold those shoes, if they felt it fit them, that's fine.
Exactly, that's what I said, that's almost exactly what I said. If they fit, lace them up and wear them, right? Like,
Any other comments on this?
I was just gonna say, Crystal brought up a good point, because I asked the question, did the people, when they tagged you as Crystal Morris, we really need to hear your opinion, or was it Deputy Mayor or Councillor Morris who they were talking to? We don't know, eh? And I guess the flip side of the problem is how does the town council use social media to communicate? And if we define that, because if you respond in a public role, then you're gonna sign it as Councillor Rock. If it's in the private realm, it's a different way. But it's a challenge going forward that we don't have an easy answer to, and I'm not big on writing a policy that we really don't fully understand. So I would think that let's keep thinking about it until we come up with a good answer to it that's reasonable for all, because we don't want to tread on personal rights, but we also have to be our role as councillors is to be protective of council and the community. So that happy balance we're looking for.
Margaret?
Well, I can put it right out there, I don't like Facebook, but
Well,
that's
this
my-
isn't a
but that- but
Facebook
that's- but that's-
discussion.
No,
Yeah.
that's my personal opinion, and this is what we're talking about mainly is Facebook, not
Facebook
social
is social
media or
media.
whatever, yeah,
Twitter.
social media, but it's zeroing on Facebook. So I think if we just keep it to our, when we put something on there, think twice before you put something on there. That's all you can do. Take 5 seconds and, no, I won't. Or, yes, I will, just think. And have future
I
discussions
mean, we have a
about it
code
if
of- we have a
something
code
comes
of
up.
conduct policy, right?
Yeah.
Of some kind that applies to employees. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, in my
It doesn't
mind,
address social media.
it doesn't directly, but code of conduct
Yeah.
applies to you whether you're typing it or saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my mind. So if somebody behaves completely inappropriate on social media by saying something that is completely inappropriate and they're doing it representing themselves as an elected official at the time, then there's a code of conduct policy that should apply. And if there are disciplinary measures required, then the appropriate ones should be outlined there. I'd be curious to see whether or not a code of conduct can be made to apply to social media if it's really necessary. I'm yet to have seen anything that would cause me to think, wow, we are really stepping outside our bounds of what's appropriate here. I haven't seen it yet. I think people are wise enough to recognize that when they're responding to things on Facebook or talking about things, that they're proofreading what they post before they send it up.
Yeah, well, a lot of things too, it's somebody else, they could say, take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and say, well, he said, she said, and mess it all up.
It's
Okay?
the nature of the
Unknown
beast.
territory.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast.
So I think we need more discussion before we pass.
Yeah.
Is what the answer to that is.
And that should come from us, like, not say, here, Jen, go figure it out and bring it back. Like, you should,
Yeah,
Well, I like that
something
method so much better.
I've looked through a lot of municipalities, and they all have policies for in-house stuff, you know what I mean? But not your private side of it. There was nothing addressing your Facebook site
Right.
as Crystal Moorish. It was as
Because-
Councillor
Because
Moorish,
you
but
can't,
not
I mean,
as
you
Crystal
couldn't tell
Moorish.
me that I can't go to a bar now that I'm an elected official. I couldn't go to the bar on Friday night at midnight,
There's no
stay out until
stopping
2
you.
o'clock and be loud and rowdy if I wanted to. As long as I'm not hurting anybody and I'm having a good time, that's who I am. And that's what I like to do. That has nothing to do with whether, and if you tried to convince somebody that because I'm an elected official, that should mean I should be fired because I went out to the bar on Friday night and had a good time, sorry, you're wrong. You know, this isn't, that's just the way, and Facebook is no different. If I happen to go on Facebook and post some rowdy and loud status that is maybe, I don't know what it would be, but it was maybe as inappropriate as me being loud and rowdy at a bar, as long as I'm not actually doing anything wrong. You may not like my post, you may not think that's professional of me, or you may not think that's the behavior becoming of an elected official, but it's not outside of the purview of what I'm allowed to do in Canada. So,
Just too much
as long as I'm
sugar.
not breaking any laws, it's good.
And ditto. That's all I'm going to say. Ditto.
Well, I mean, we're human, right? Like, I mean, we're not, when we're elected officials, it doesn't automatically mean that, like, we're perfect beings who are never going to make mistakes or maybe say something that we wish we could take back. I mean, we're still human beings, and I think sometimes people forget that, like.
6.1, call-out rates at the airport.
At the December 11th, 2015 Committee of the Whole meeting, the committee reviewed request from the airport manager to increase the call-out rate from $175 to $200. The committee requested more information and what other airports were charging. The airport manager advised that Flin Flon Airport charges $350 and $290 for ComAir. The airport manager still supports a recommendation of $200 with an automatic annual increase of 5%. As slow increments will be less of a sticker shock as it relates to public opinion. I've asked the CFO to review this information, and she is recommending that the town charge the same rate as Flin Flon.
Yeah, I know.
Just bump it up to 350 and 290?
Yep.
Can I go?
What, out on call?
Yeah, okay, so I mean, I see both sides, but I think we should do something in the middle, because I agree, like, that's gonna be quite a shocker to have somebody go from 175 or 150, what are they charging right now?
175.
175 to $350, like, that's almost $200 difference there.
Double.
So I think, like, maybe say even 250, bumping it up some, but I don't think we should go the full 350 all in one shot. I mean, maybe even if we do like 10% increases, I know that that's a little bit inflated than normally to get us up there, but yeah, I think doing it all in one shot, people are gonna be like, whoa, what the heck?
Deficit. Costing us money to run the
That's what
airport.
I'm
I
thinking.
didn't mean throw you under the bus on this.
Costing taxpayer, town of the paw, taxpayer money, so that somebody from, I don't know, pick a place, Cormorant, can fly for $175 instead of the actual $350 that it costs. Town of the paw, taxpayers, paying for airplanes to land and take off. Deficit,
Ditto.
that's all. I mean, ComAir may not like it, they're just going to pass it on to the consumer.
There.
I don't disagree that should probably come with a letter that says, hey, in 6 months' time, just so you know, because we've gotten through the budget process here, this is where this rate is going. But these numbers are real.
I don't get what a call-out rate is, sorry.
So when they have to, like, so the airport is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., right? So as long as a plane lands in between that time and stuff, or takes off in between that time, it doesn't cost us anything extra. But if a plane, like if a ComAir flight is late coming in or whatever, then it's a call-out rate, right? Or an emergency, if like medevac or whatever had to fly out of there.
And it's not just 1 hour, it's.
Right.
It's time consuming.
Two employees get called up at a time.
Yep.
Two employees, and it's minimum 3 hours, that overtime rate. So our call rate right now doesn't even cost the employees. Once again, it's a deficit, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be the lowest in airport that you land at.
No.
You shouldn't be.
Cost neutral's good. A little bit of profit,
They'll probably
maybe not
think,
bad, so we
"Oh,
can
we got
actually
away
fix a
with it for a
tarmac
long
or something,
time."
or an apron.
Exactly, and what Margaret just said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
So they probably think, well, we got away with that for a long time, so
Yeah.
now we're not.
Yeah, and that's my thoughts. Yeah?
Who all does it, in terms of businesses that use our airport, it impacts everybody that lands after 8 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
100%?
Yeah.
There's some little plane
Yeah.
lands, they pay, have we already always been charging and collecting this 175 from
Yeah.
all
Get
these?
invoiced.
yeah, you can't
So-
sneak in and
so how do
sneak
we-
out in the middle of the night.
Well, how do we, okay, they're flying, it's somebody that knows somebody and they're flying over and they want to land and gas up and away they go, and so how far ahead do they have to plan to have people on our staff there to,
If they need our
Serve
staff
them.
there, then Audrey knows ahead of time.
We know ahead of time, yeah. If it's an emergency situation, that's way different, right?
no, I'm just wondering, I'm concerned that will it have any impact on the small extra business you get if you have such a large surcharge?
Well, if they gonna meet someone on the ground, they don't have a lot of choices where they can go.
Yeah.
They go to
Or
Flin Flon,
if
it'll
it-
cost them the same.
What small business would it be? Like what?
Yeah, like
what is
for
it that
an
you're thinking
example.
of?
You know, like, I don't know, somebody, it's a charter, and they're coming in at 9 o'clock at night, and they're dropping off 6 people, and they land at this airport, right?
But they
They
know
would
that in
plan
advance,
ahead of
right?
time.
They have to file flight plans and all that sort of stuff, so these things are well known in advance. Like, it's not like I just get out in my car and go to the liquor store. I have to, you have to go and fly somewhere and make plans and go, file them with
Oh,
government
okay.
and everything else, so it's
all regulated.
it's rarely a secret, rarely a secret.
No, those,
The air police, whatever you call it, traffic,
Yeah,
air traffic control.
I'm for the
Yeah.
recommendation of 350.
Yeah.
So it's good?
Yes.
350, 350,
Yeah, that's good.
350? Jim, 350?
Yeah.
Crystal, you're...
I would suggest a little bit of notice though on it, right? Like, I don't know if we had a date set there.
No,
for
there was
when
no
it
date,
changes.
but even like you said, we could stand
Like,
by
there
it.
should be an appropriate, whether it's 90 days or...
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it is for just call-outs and de-icing, so it's not like it's a head
Yeah,
tax every
90
time
days.
we're around or whatever. It's just for out of the ordinary.
So resolution 350.
What's a terrible?
And you're okay with the 290 for Comair? Just like Flin Flon, or you want 350 straight across the board?
Are we talking now,
No, we're still talking about this too. Like the airport manager advised that Flin Flon Airport charges 350 and 290 for Comair. I did ask her why they get a deal on Comair, but she didn't reply in regards to the call out, but she did make comment in the de-icing.
Oh, I should comment on being anything different.
Our airport operates already on hours that meet the needs of Comair and their sched flights, right?
Which is
So then I don't think the call-out rate should be different at all. If you're coming in late for whatever reason, or if you're running a charter and you want to come in late and we need to have extra employees there, then you get to handle that cost.
Okay.
yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Because the numbers just look identical to the de-icing, that's why
I
it's
know,
going.
I know.
Yeah, okay. All right, de-icing.
Same thing, December 11th, 2015, committee of the whole meeting, committee review request from the airport manager in regards to the PAW Airport being the cheapest airport to de-ice. The PAW is also the only airport that owns their own de-icing equipment. Currently, the PAW Airport only invoices for the product, not the actual service. Their airport manager recommended adding a service fee of $300 plus the product fee for de-icing, and Comair will pay $200 plus product since they purchase the majority of the de-icing and provide annual training of de-icing procedures to the PAW Airport staff. The committee wanted to know what other airports were doing. Flin Flon charges $350 plus product and $290 for Comair plus product. Gillam Airport no longer de-ices due to liability issues, but their past practice was $300 plus product. And Thompson Airlines do their own de-icing. It is not the responsibility of the airport. The CFO reviewed this information and recommends that the town charge the same rates as Flin Flon, once again.
Same story, different product. Yes.
Same amounts.
Yeah, everybody okay with that?
Except
Yes.
that Flin Flon doesn't actually own the de-icing equipment. Does that mean
Correct.
Comair owns it?
Yeah, we own ours.
the owners.
I'm okay with the CFO recommendation.
Okay. That's it, that's all? Move along? Okay, moving along.
Be it resolved that we do now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of the committee of the whole meeting with Mayor Scott in the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
Okay.
Do we expect anything to come out of
No, I don't think so. Let me just see. No.